Hello everyone, and I am going to record a video on the authentication. And I am recording this video totally on the basis of these two things because I want to improve my communication and the command over this language. And also, the second was revising all the concepts that I have learned in authentication till now. So, let's get started. So, the first question should be, what is authentication? So basically, when I say authentication, I notice on these three things. This word authenticate. Authenticate. It means when I say if this person is authentic to do this thing, it means the person what the person is saying are he is he able to do that thing. So authentication means the thing which you are saying, are you that thing? So that what authentication means. And for the authentication, we will be first creating the register route. And for that, what we will be registering in our database, what we will be registering in our database. So in our database, we will be registering these four things only: name, email, password, and role. And I'm not creating the entire things what we will be in the database because there is a reason for that. I want to create things on the go, whatever the things which I am requiring, I will be creating that, and then we will move forward with the next. Okay. So in that way, our learning will be more stronger, what I believe. So firstly, we will be creating the register route, and for the register route, we have the database. So let's create schema in our database. So if you don't know, I have earlier created these common folders which should be known to you. So basically the config, basically where database is connected, the base GTO, the middleware that will validate the user input, a user request body, then these utilities, APIs, error and API response. After that, I have this auth module, nothing in there, just the names, and this app.js, nothing new, and this server which will start the server. Okay, and now I will let's start this server. Npm run dev. How basically this script is missing? Why? Because auth, I am not in this folder. Npm run dev. So it the database is connected. You should not. The database is connected and server is running at port 5700. Good. Now uh, we have this routes and models, middlewares, controllers. As you know, there is nothing written, so I will be writing everything from here. So, acha, if you have to see where I have written all this, so you should go to here, GitHub, and if you see the latest commit, starter code, then you will get all these files here in this folder. At this point of time, I have created this. So these are the files which you will be getting. Nothing in there. The things which I just showed you, that is it. So I'll starting from here. So if you come to this page, then start from here. And if you don't know what it is, so you have to go back to the previous video that I have uploaded where I have explained the entire code flow. Then after watching that, you will understand this. And then let's start from here because we are going to start the authentication and building the routes. Let's cut it off. Oh, this is the database. Now I have to create the models. So what are the things that will be there in the models? So in order to create the models, I have to import the mongoose. Uh, import mongoose from mongoose. Then I have const user schema equal to new mongoose dot schema. Then we have an object, and then I will export this. How will I export this? If I have to export this, then I will say export default export default mongoose dot model. Then user, after that I will be giving this schema, user schema. And if you have a, there will be a doubt for you, of course. So that doubt is, I have written here user, and I will be using this name everywhere wherever I will be using this in my backend. But the thing that will be stored in the database will be users, and the first u will be small. So this is the internal implementation of MongoDB, how it store the name of the tables inside the MongoDB Atlas. So this is it. And for the schema, we want four things as of now. And these things are name. So the name will type will be, let's remove this. I don't want to write in such way. Name type will be string. I'm not writing any validations here. Name, email, this one, and the role. So name, email, then we have password, then we have role. And everything is string, but this is not. So its roles type will be string, but it should be enum value. So enum, in the enum we have user or the admin, and default will be user. So these are the things that we have created as of now. Now, and in the end, I should be knowing the timestamp. Stamp true. So it will created and updated at in the MongoDB, in the database basically. So we have created our route model, and now what I want is I want to create a route for that. Control Shift P. So I want to create a route for that. So import router from Express and const auth router equal to const auth router equal to express dot route I have to write. So router, then I have to export this export auth router default export default auth router, and I will be creating firstly the register route. And for the register route, I will be taking these four things. So let's create this register route first. So I will be having this register route. It means auth route dot post slash register. Then here it will be, so here I will be validating the register route, and I will be calling the register function. So for the validation, here I will be validating the input that will be coming from this. So for that I have to go into DTO. Not here, it will be in DTO, I will create a folder register.dto.js. So here I am taking three things. What are those things? So firstly, I have to import Joey from Joey. Then I have to tell it what are the things, what are, then I have to tell what are the things that I want in my request body that should be filtered out and then come filtered to me. So register DTO. So it will be register DTO extends that will extends the base DTO, basically base DTO. Why is it not base DTO? So there will be, why it is not importing, man? It extends and then base DTO. No, no. This is the base DTO. I have to import it manually, I guess. So let's import it manually. So import base DTO. Yeah, this one. Dot JS. If I do not write dot JS, then it will surely throw an error. I don't know. Okay, JS. Now this is base DTA, and I have to just sta static schema equal to joey dot object, and in here I have to write four things. Name, I have to validate these three things. I am writing the code here. You just have to do things. So basically the name, which is a string trimmed minimum to required. Email is also required and password is also required. The role I have set as default, but these are the roles, user and admin, and that is optional. So this is the base register DTO that I have created, and I have to just export default. Basically its name is register. Export default register DTO. Now register DTO is being exported, but it should be there in the middleware, na? Validate, not routes. It should be in the routes. So in the out route, I will be telling you validate register DTO. So that will be validating my register DTO, and this validate should be coming from the import validate from basically one more auth, one more, one more, then it should be in common, then DTO, not common, then middleware slash validate middleware dot js. It should be in the middleware, na? So why is it not taking this name import validate? Let me check once again. It is validate and exporting it also. Then why is it not exporting? Register out in the routes. I want to validate DATE, and then register user. I don't know why is it not working, but it should be. We'll see later what is the problem with this. Okay. Now let's first create the user register controller. So in the controller, I will create a user register controller. And for that, const then there is request response, and after that for the request and response I have two things, this, and then I will be calling the service. So in this service I will be creating the auth user register service, and for the user register service we have export const register, then will be async, and in here the data which will be arriving it here in the request body, that will be filtered. So I will just destructure that name, email, password, and the role. And then I will be firstly, whatever the data here will be, that will be filtered. So filtered data should be here, so we don't have to worry about it. Now what I want is, I want that I want to check if the user is already in DB. How will I check that? Const. Why is it not coming? Yaar. User. Const user equal to user dot. Why the user is not arriving now? It is working earlier, but when I started recording it, it is not working. I don't know why. Import. See, here also it is not coming. So I just copy and paste it from here. So user is from auth model.js. Now user dot, I'll just find one with the email. And if I find that user should be existing, if the user is already existing, if existing user already existing, then I will throw an API error, and that API error should be, let's see what are the errors we have. So we have bad request, unauthorized, conflict, data already exists. So I will be throwing this conflict error. Hmm, dot conflict. The conflict is user already exists. And after that, once I see that the user is basically not present, then I will create a new user. I will create a new user. How will I create a new user? Const new user is equal to, it's user dot create, user dot create, and I have to write the name, email, password, and the role. These are the things that I have to save in the DB. Okay. So, and also the database lives in another continent. The database lives in another continent also. So I have to write await Hmm. Now what the user is now created. Now what I want the user to save. So this method will create the user and also save it in the database. Now let's see if the user is saved in the database or not. If not new user, then I will throw an error. Throw API error. So the error would be internal error because it I have handed over the task of saving the database to the mongoose, and that will save my data in the database, but somehow it does not happen, so that error should be internally from that mongoose itself. So this will be the internal error, and I will say failed to create the user. Now here the user has been now created. I will return this new user. New user. So I will now return this new user, and where this new user will go? It will go in the controller. So now in the controller, what I will be doing is I will call this. What happened, man? I will call this register from the auth service, and what it is taking the request body, and it is returning me the user. Const user. What are the user it has returned me? I will return an API response. API response. Sure. Why is it not working, man? API response I have created now. API response. It is being default exported also. Then why is it not working? I don't know what is the problem with this. So when I started recording this video, it is not working. Earlier it was working. So learnings after learnings. Then I have to just go in the where I have to go. I have to go in the where was I have to go into the controller. Controller. So here there is API response. No, now it is there. I have to go into API response, and this API response will send and create it with response, and that will be response, then user registered TRETE registered successfully, and it will give me the user data. This is the data. So technically, if I have to not test this, let me first not test. Firstly, I have to use it here also now. App.use slash API slash auth slash. Then once I do that, after that I have to import this auth route, AUTH auth router, and then this auth router will do my job. So auth router, it will go in the auth router, then see auth, then it will go into register, validate. Where is the middleware, man? Why is it not working? Validate, export default, validate. Now I have to register it in here. Validate. Now it is coming. register route, register DTO. Then it will first validate and then it will go into the register user controller, register user controller. So it will go in the register user controller, then it will see, acha, the request body is now filtered. I will just go into the register service. So first it will go into the register service, do all these things. Firstly, check if the user is already in the database. If it is not, it will create a new user and send the user to here. And then I will just go inside the controller and it will send me the response. So technically, theoretically, what I know is that it should be working. Now let's test it. Test it. So first run the server. Again shows error. What is the error? Cannot find module. Okay. It is in register DTO. So register DTO here. Which module you are not able to find, man? authrouter.js. authrouter.js. So here is the problem. .js. Now if I run again, let's see what are the errors. I get it now again. Cannot found module API error imported from auth service. So in the auth service also there is one error here. Now let's see is it working or not. So let's start the server again. Now I can see the database is connected and the server is running. Now what I want is let's send a request from the postman. So I'm sending a register route and this is the URL. Is this visible or not? I don't know. So this is the URL and I'm sending this from the request as a JSON in the request body. Now if I hit the route, let's see if the user is created in the database or not. Error, user already exists. So it is giving me error. Why is it giving me error? Because the user already exists. So let's see if the user already exists or not. Or is it going? Hmm, if the user is already exist, it means I have just tried earlier, so that user might still be there in the database. So again, let's see, we will debug it together. Now it is not working. So this one and here collection is no data. Then why is it saying the user exists? User already exists. It is saying if already exists. So think the route is clear, but if there will be existing user through an API error, user already exists. But here I don't have any user now. Then why is it showing that? Let me clear all these cookies because yesterday I was, let's give it another name. Panduranga name. Then this is the panduranga@gmail.com. Panduranga 123. And then I send the register request. It is saying the user already exists. Why? Let me see in the database. Nothing is there. Nothing is there. Then why is it saying user already? Let's first see if there is console.log. Then here is email. Let's just hit the route again. User already exists again. So here the email is good. Let's see what is there in the existing user. Console.log existing user. So what is there in the existing user? Let's see. Now again the changes. Let's start the server again and then see what happens. Database connected, server running. Let's send the request again. Post request. Okay, let's see. User already exists. Why? Why the user already exists? I have not created any user. Model name user, name user, collection name users. Let me first remove everything from here, then see. AUTH, auth YouTube. And I also delete this one. Theme delete. Now let's start again. So theoretically it should be working, and again same error, not the error. It is breaking it from here, but the user is not there. Okay, I have not awaited it. User lives in different continent and I have to await it. If I try, let's again try, then I'll say something. Now the user is being created. So that await is creating the problem which we are getting. So now you can see that the user is created, success message is true, message user successfully created, data, name, email, password, role, and everything that we have sent. So the problem which was earlier was this just a wait. This was creating a panicking problem for us. Okay, now I can just omit it and this one also. So we have successfully, let's just see if this is there in our database or not. Refresh the page and let's see in the database. It's auth YouTube. Then in the user, I have these this field. So it has been created. Okay, now you can see that the password is not hashed. So I should know some method how to hash this password. So let's start with that. We will firstly hash this password. So in order to hash the password, what we have to do is again come to this MongoDB. Where is it? The models. So here what we will be doing is we will hash the password here with the pre-hook, pre-save hook. Password hashing with pre-save hook, and it is user schema dot pre. It means save the password before save. Then there is async function, and if this dot modified, if the password field is modified, basically password, no, if the password field is not modified, just return. Don't change the password field, or don't hash the password field, or don't do anything. But if the password field is modified, just hash it. How will you hash it? Using the, how will you hash it? Password hashing. So for the password hashing, we have bcryptjs npm. So we have bcryptjs for password hashing. So install this. So what is bcryptjs? Bcryptjs is an optimized bcrypt in JavaScript with zero dependency, with TypeScript support, compatible to the C++ bcrypt binding on Node.js, and also working in the browser. So bcrypt.js is basically used to hash the password. Hashing one way hoti hai. Hashing is one way, so we should know the difference between hashing and encryption and decryption. So firstly, we have to npm install bcrypt.js. Once it is installed, I have to import it. Import bcrypt from bcrypt.js. Once it is imported, I just have to await, and then what I have to do, once it is imported, just hash it bcrypt dot hash, and in the hash I will be needing password. I have to hash this password, and then I have to is the salt value. So the password has now been hashed. Now there is one more thing. The password is hashed, but how to check the password or compare the password? So for that we have user schema dot methods, basically similar to the prototypes that we have learned. So methods dot compare password, that is async function. Function will take an argument clear text password. Whatever the password that the user will be giving me, that will be there in the clear text password. And I will just return await bcrypt dot compare, and this will take clear text password and the password that is stored in the database, and it will return me a boolean value. What is this? Similar to the prototypes. So in the user schemas prototype, I have injected this compare password method, and we will be using that. Similar to what we have done in the prototypes, we have created our own prototypes. This is the only thing. So this is the practical implementation of this prototype. Now, if the user again logged in, so the things which will be saving in here, that will be hashed. So let's start with again login with another user. Now if I hit send, it is not working. Why it is not working? Because I have not installed the server. npm run start. So the server is getting started, the database is running, and the server is running at port this 7000, and I just hit this API endpoint, API slash auth slash register, And if I register it, the user has been successfully registered. And the password, you see, this is hashed. Okay, let's see that in the database also. Now the new user which is created, its password is hashed. Remember hashing one step at a time. Hmm. So we have successfully now created our register route, right? Okay. Now that the register route is successfully created, let's push it in the GitHub also. Git status. So git add all git commit dash m is YouTube post slash register and git push. Nice. So the register route is now crystal and clear. Now we'll start creating our login route. And before that, let's have some theory. So whenever whenever a user logs in, what happens? So let's see. So this is my front end and this is my back end. If the user requested slash login with some of the data, what are the things that the user will take in order to log in? So basically email and the password. So user will take the email and the password. Now what happens here is the let me basically go in here. Hmm, okay, so the user will basically take email and the password, and once the user takes the email and the password, what happens at the backend site? Hmm. So once it hits the request, the backend will generate access token and refresh token, and there is also a database. So that this refresh token, the user, what this backend has generated, this will be stored in the database, and this access token and refresh token will travel back in the user in the front end to the user in the front end in the cookies. So COOKIES. So these access token and refresh token will stay in the user cookies. This is the only work of this login mechanism. So what the login do is, let's again revise it. So what the login will do is, it will firstly request slash login. When I request slash login in the backend, I will validate all these things, and then this will create a access token and refresh token. That refresh token is stored in the database, and the access token and refresh token are sent back to the front end in the cookies. So this is the entire flow, and this is what we are going to create in the login route. And what are the challenges that we will be getting? We will be implementing that. Firstly, in the database, we have to store this refresh token, and so for that, we have to add a new row in the refresh to database model, not the row, column. So let's do that first. So in the routes, I want models. I want one more field, that is refresh token. This is a string. Okay. Now what I want, I want is route. Where is the route? This is the route. So firstly, I have to create a DTO for the login. So for the login, so I have to create the DTO for the login. And for the login, we have this DTO. Base DTO to import it from somewhere. DTO.js. So basically, we have for the login, we need email and password, and we are imposing these validation on here. You can do whatever the validation which you want, and then I just had to export it. Port default login DTO, and before that I have to import the Joey. You will be wondering why I'm copy pasting these codes, because I have written earlier and I am revising the entire flow. And if this helps to you, then just good, good. Now the if I have to now write the auth router dot post, and then I'll log in into this with the validate now, which will be the this will be the login DTO, and I will be creating a login controller, login user. So let's start with the controller. So exp export const login user async request response, then whatever the things that will be there, I have to call the service. So this is the service, and export const login, what are the things that this will be taking. Email and password. So auth service will be taking the email and the password. Now let's see. So basically it is taking the email and the password. So it will first go to the backend or the server. It will first validate the email and the password that has been checked. Now I'll check if this user is already existing in the database or not. Then I'll match this password. Once this password and these things are matched, then I will create this access token and refresh token. If this is created, then I will store this in the database and send that back to the cookies. This is the entire workflow, not flow. So firstly, let's check the user. Check user in DB. So const user. Now I'll not forget. I have to write here await. User dot find one with the email. Now I have, if I do not have user, if I do not have user, then it means the user has not registered yet. And if the user is not registered, I am not unauthorized, the invalid credential. API error dot authorized in VALI valid password. Now user is being checked. What else? I'll have to check the password. Compare password. How will I compare the password? Remember we have this in the in the prototype in the prototype of the mongoose we have basically what we have done. We have injected this compare password, so that should be there in the user. So compare, what is the name that we have written? This one, compare password. So this compare password is there. What are the things that it is taking? I have to compare password with this password which is coming. Now it will check is matched, if the password is matched or not. If not is matched, if the password does not matched, it means I have to just throw this error again. Now what else? Now I have to create access and refresh token. For that, let's create some utilities. How to create this access token and refresh token. So jwt dot utils uti adjust. Now I'll create some access token and refresh token, and for that we have basically for that we have JSON web token. So basically in the JSON web token we have two things. The first one will be creating that token with all the things, and then there will be something that will, so basically first one will be the signing the token, and the second one will be verifying that signed token and validate if that token is actually the token or not. So we have two methods, jwt.sign and one is jwt.verify. Where is it? Ah, jwt.verify. So these two methods only. So we will be creating those, but first let's install this JSON web token installed. Uh, then we have, okay, we are creating the utilities. So import jwt from JSON web token. Now I have to create two things, port const generate access token. What it will be taking? It will be taking payload. And how will I generate? jwt dot sign payload. Along with that I need the jwt access secret key. So here sign, then this is the payload, then the private key, and then the algorithm. So let's do that. Or expires in how many days? So I will be telling you that let's use this process.env.jwt access secret key, jwt access secret key, and then I'll have to pass one more, how many days after the access token will expire. So for that let's again come back to the board. So as we already know that this access token is short lived and this refresh token is long lived. So let's say access token lives for 15 minutes and refresh token lives for 1 day. Now let's do that. Expires in 15 minutes and then I'll just return it, and I have to just verify it also now. Export const verify access token. How will I verify? I have to need I will need a token, and then I'll just have to say return jwt dot verify token, and then I'll pass the secret key. Then I'll pass the secret key. Similarly, I will create the function to generate the refresh token and verify refresh token. Similarly, same code, no, nothing changed. Single word is not changed here. So these are all the utilities that we have created for the JWT tokens. Now, now we have to basically generate these. So come in the service, generate this service. So let's first be in the same page and send the data. What are the data that we are going to send in the payload? So I will be thinking of sending the user ID and also the user role. So I'll send this user ID and the user role. Now, simple. I have now access token, generate access token, and here I have to just pass the payload. Then generate refresh token and pass the payload. Generate access token, generate refresh token. Nice. So we have now access token and refresh token. And let's just, we now have the access token and the refresh token. Now let's save this refresh token in the database and send back all this to the front end. How will we do that? So we have the user. So in the user, we have refresh token and just send this and then await user dot save. Now the in the database, the refresh token has been saved. Now what I want, the service work is done, return. I'll just return the user, the access token and the refresh token, and let's start doing things in the controller. So what the login route, what we get from the login route, user access token, refresh token, and we have called the login service, and in the login service we have passed the request dot body. Now we have the user's access token and refresh token. What we are going to do with this thing? So we will firstly send those, we will now send these access token, and firstly we have saved this refresh token in the database. Now we are going to send this access token and refresh token to the front end, and in the front end we will be sending this in the cookies. So how will we do that? and there is a npm package for that. Let's start, or let's read about this. So cookie parser, this is the one. So cookie parser parse cookie header and populate request.cookie with an object by the cookie names. Optionally, you may enable signed cookie support by passing a secret string which assigns request.secret, or it may be used by other middlewares. Okay, now let's npm install cookie parser. Let's do this. Then we have what we have to do. We have to send this to the front end. So to send, is there any example? Okay, so firstly we have to use this middleware also. So first use this middleware in the app. So import cookie parser from cookie parser, and then just paste it here. So this cookie parser will now work. Now in the, where were we? In the controller. So here we have to send request dot cookie. What is the name that I am going to give my cookie? Access token. And what is that cookie? This was, and there should be some things, that is, no, this is it. Similarly, I will send this to the refresh token, and refresh token. And what I want is, once these are sent, retu return retu, I want to send the response. API response dot okay. I'll say user is logged in successfully, and in the data I will be, for now this is not a good practice, but for the sake of understanding I'm sending this. So I'll send the access token, and refresh token will be there in the database itself. So let's just save this. So this is the login route that we have created. Let's start with the flow. So basically user will come here, auth route, API slash slash, then it will go into slash login. It will validate, and then it will call the controller. What is the controller? Login user controller. Now it will go into the login user controller. The login user controller says that, okay, you just proceed the login things, and then I will send back the response, or the things in the cookies and the response. So in the login we have done check the, if the user is in DB, then compare the password, then create access and refresh token. We have created some utilities as well for those, and then we have saved it in the database. Let me write it. Save in the database, and then return this. So this is the flow for the login. And if I run this server, let's run this. If I run this server, then it should be working, I guess. So if theoretically I am correct. So let's start the postman, and this was the user. So if I just hit, basically let's log in. I'll have to remove this, and I have to hit on this route, email and the password, and let's send. Boom. user is logged in successfully. And what we get, the user ID, this one, this is the refresh token and this is the access token. And the token that we have sent, the token that we have sent from here to here with the res dot cookies, that should be there in the cookies. So let's see or verify this in the postman. So in the postman we have this cookies. Click it. So this is the access token and this is the refresh token. We have got it. The access token is here, the refresh token is here. And if you want to compare this, how will you compare with this access token? EYJH, same, that is same basically. So we got those in the cookies also. So we have created our login route as well. These are not complete, but once we create all the 4 or 5 routes, everything will make sense. Now we have created our login as well. So let's push this code also. Git status, git add, git commit YouTube post slash login, git push. Let's see if it is there or not. So these are the 3 things that we have done till now: post, register, login, and now it's time for the, what is it's time for? So it's time for the get me route. So we are going to create a get me route. Or basically what this route will be doing is it will giving me the details of myself if I am logged in or not. If I am logged in, then this will give me the details of the logged in user. So auth router dot get, this will be slash profile. And okay, so somehow I should know na that the user is logged in, so I will be creating a middleware is logged in. User is logged in or not, this middleware will check if the user is logged in or not. Then I will call this get user profile constructor, not constructor, controller. Now I have to create this middleware is logged in. So let's start with creating this middleware if the user is logged in or not. So for that, let's start. So export export const is logged in. So in the middleware we have request response next and then this thing. And if this logged in is here, so I have to just import it in here. Import it in here. Now is logged in middleware is correct. User profile. So let's first create the is logged in middleware. But for that, what we need this thing. So now what we've talked of is now whenever a user logged in, whenever a user request on the backend, what it will be taking? It will be taking these two, access token and refresh token. Okay. Now, if there, suppose if there is this access token is not there, it has been expired, and if there is no refresh token also, If there is no access token and there is no refresh token in my front end, then what happens? I'll directly say that, okay, hey user, the thing which you are going to do is not for you. So first relog in again. So if there is no access token, no access, yeah, refresh, then I'll say login again. Okay. Now suppose suppose there is no access token, but but there is refresh token. So what will happen? So it means this access token is not there. So remove it. Now there I have only refresh token. So what will happen here is, in the backend it say that I have refresh token. It will just verify and check that if refresh token is correct or not. If that is correct, then it will generate a new access token and new refresh token and send back these access to new access token and refresh token in the front end, and this update this new refresh token with this refresh token. This is what we are going to do. And no access but there is refresh token, and suppose if there is only refresh token, if suppose there is access token, if there is access token, I'll say good verify access and generate new. So this will be what we are going to do, and then send back this to here and update also. So let's start and see how we are going to do this. So basically we will be getting our access token in the request dot cookies dot access token. Similarly, we will be having our refresh token as well. Now, what we've talked of, if, let me write it, if there is no access token and if there is no refresh token, if there is no access token and no refresh token, then simple, I have to just throw an error, throw API error. What will be the error? I have to just throw an API error that the user is unauthorized. So just say unauthorized. Why unauthorized? No token provided. Now, suppose if there is no access token, suppose there is no access token, but there is refresh token. So what will happen? There is refresh token, it will verify the refresh token and then create the new one and then update the new one in the database and also send back it the cookies. So we are going to do that. So here I have the refresh token. But have refresh token. Now what will happen is I will just decode it, decoded refresh token, and how will I verify refresh token, and then I'll pass this refresh token. So this will give me the decoded form of that refresh token. What are the payload that I have given in that token? Now I will basically find the user from that token, await user dot find one. How do I find one? Basically, this should be async user. Why user? It is not being imported. So .js. This will be .js and import user from model.js. So find one from which I will be finding from the ID y decoded refresh token dot id. Okay, now you will be thinking why I have written here underscore id. So let me explain you. The underscore id is because in the MongoDB, the ID that the MongoDB store is here, and we are going to find the user from this ID, and this ID we have stored in our payload as well. Okay, so this is the thing. Now, if there is no user, the user does not found it, then I'll say that the refresh token is not valid also. Throw API error. Dot. So the refresh token is invalid. Now, if the user is found, it means there is a valid refresh token. If there is a valid refresh token, generate the new access token and generate the new refresh token. How will I do that? Simple. Const new access token equal to generate access token and then pass the payload. The payload I have id user dot underscore id and in the role I have user dot role. Similarly, I will generate new refresh token. So I have generated new access token and new refresh token and just save it in the database. So user dot refresh token is equal to new refresh token and save it. Await user dot save that also. Once this is saved, send that back to the front end. And this is in the middleware, so we don't have to worry about anything. So how to send back in the front end? We know this already. Response.cookie, simple. Response.cookie, simple. And in the end, I have to just do request dot in the request of the user, just attach this user with the request and send back in the middleware user send back. So this user is being attached here and just return next. So what we have done here, so we have just seen that if there is no access token, what if there is an access token? What will happen? If there is an access token, I'll just decode it. Const decoded access token equal to verify access token with the access token. Now, similar steps, find the user. If there is no, then do. So basically, here are the same steps that we have done earlier. So, firstly, we will have to just decode the access token and find it if there is any user or not. If I found any user, then well and good. If does not, then throw an error. Then there is new access token, generate it, then also generate a fresh token. Why it is not generate access token and generate a fresh token? Send back in the cookies, send back in the cookies, and save it in the database. Save it in the database and just stick that user in the user. Okay, you say I have written the same code here, but if this code will run, it will return it from here itself. So this code will not run. So that has been taken care of. Now we have created our is logged in middleware. Now in the routes is logged in complete. Let's create this user profile route. So user profile, get user profile. So in the get user profile, what we will be doing is in the controller export const user profile. So in the get user profile, we have async request response, and here I will be returning the API response user fetched successfully. So return API response dot okay, and it will take response user, yeah, profile fetched successfully, and then I'll give the user data. And from where I will be getting this user service call, na? I'll call the service and get the user. Or similarly, simply I can get it from the request body, but let's call it from the service that we are creating service for it. So this is get profile, and in the request dot user dot id. So now I'll create a service for the get user export const get profile, and this will give a take user id. So in the user id we have basically we'll get this user from where const user from the database. Let's call it from the user base database. So find by id and then user id. And if I do not find the user in the database, if basically we will find it, but for double security, let's check it. There is nothing harm. Throw API error dot not found, and it will be user not found, and in the response return this user. So this is the user that we got here, where in the controller. So it is coming from the service, and this user we send this user. So we'll get all the profile of the user login. Now if I have to test it, let's see. It is not. Now let's see what happens. So firstly, the use API will hit here, API slash slot, then it will go into auth route, then it will go into slash profile is logged in. So it will do all this tam jam, and in the end, it will it will do all this tantrum, and then in the end, it will plug this user with a user field created in that request body, and then we will go in the get profile. So get profile controller, it is here, and then from here we will send the response. So if I run this server npm run dev and hit the the route in the postman slash profile route. So firstly, let's log in the user again. So see the hash token has changed because we have 5 more minutes. Now if I fetch the profile, so it says that secret or public must be provided. I provided. Let's remove it. Again login. User is logged in successfully. In the cookies, I have refreshed an access token. And in the profile, let's call it. So it says that let's debug the error. JSON web token error. Secret or public key must be provided. Okay. So I have not provided the secret and public key, I guess. Model await. I have not provided the secret and public key. Where is the JWT? Here. The error should be here. So I think that it is not loading in the environment variable. Let's confirm this. Console.log process.env.secret. Okay, so this is not being loaded in the environment variable. That's why. So what we have to do? Nothing. Just come here and in the server, this is the import statement for the env. Just come here again and import it again. Now it is coming. So now if I hit the route, let's again hit the route. Let's log in again. Why? npm run dev. Let's start this server again. Then again, log in again. It should log in. Then in the profile section, I'll just hit this tab and it again says secret of must be provided. So let me just go and check what are the secrets and then I'll come back again. Hello again, and I am laughing now. You know what happened to just now? What was that error which I was talking of? So basically here I have not written process.env. So this is missing earlier and I just wrote .env here and then everything is working. So now let's just test it. So no file change, nothing else. If you are coding along with me, you just have to come here and just change it to process.env and it will work. Now let's start again and I'll just log in. So I just logged in and if I log in, then I see that access token and refresh token is there. And now let's start with the profile. So in the profile, if I hit this API, so it will now fetch me the profile of the user. Nice. Here we are giving all the data, but we will make sure that we give only the data which I want to give. So here we are learning, so I'm sending all the data so that the learning makes easier. Now we will be going to create this login route. So, okay, now we are going to create the logout route. So, log out route. logout route. It's okay. So if I am creating the logout route, I have to first register it. Auth router dot post slash logout, and then here there will be, if someone is logged in, then only it will log out now. And then logout user middle controller. So let's create this controller in the controller section. Export const user logout async request response request response. So basically, where was I? So I was in the controller and I was in the logout section. So if I have to log out a user, what I have to do is I have to remove the refresh token basically. Mm, I have to remove the refresh token from the database also, and whatever the things that I have stored in my cookies and in the front end, I have to remove those things also. So I have to remove this refresh token from the database, and I have to remove the things that are being stored in the front end in the cookies. So I will be doing that. So how to do that? So basically, uh, to create a service, export const logout async, it will give take user id, and in the user id what it will be doing is it will just find the user from this id and then update it or do the refresh token as null. So user dot find one, find by id and update. So from the user id, find the person who I want to update or who is getting logged out, and then update the refresh token to be null. And this is a db call, so I have to await it. So this will remove the existence of, not remove, make the refresh token as null. Now in the logout, now come in the controller and I will call this logout, logi logout, and in the logout I will be giving request dot user dot id. So this was the id in the request. Now what I have to do, I have removed the existence, not removed, make the existence of refresh token to null. Now I have to remove the things from the front end, so from the cookies. So how will I remove that? So I have to just remove that, clear cookies, COOKI cookie, clear cookie. What was the name of the cookie? Access token. And similarly, the name of the cookie was refresh token. And if everything is cleared, return a new response, API response dot okay. What is the okay response? User logged out successfully. Nice. So this is done. I have to come in the routes, just import it, not register user, logout user. Now let's start with the here. So API slash auth, then auth route. If I click on the logout, so slash logout, then it will check the middleware if it is logged in or not. Then it will call the logout. So logout will do clear the log refresh token from the DB and also from the front end. So in that way, the user is logged out. Now, if I have to test it out, so here is the logout. So firstly, let's log in. User is logged in, and in here also, let's see. Delete this. So this is the user, and this is the refresh token. And if I log out, it should be null, and also things are there in cookies. So access token and refresh token that should also be gone. So I'm expecting it to log out. So if I do the log out, it says true, user logged out successfully and the data is null. Now let's see in the database what happens here. So here the refresh token is become null, and in the cookies there is no cookies, no access token or refresh token. So we have successfully logged out from our system. Now what we are going to create? So we have successfully created slash register slash login slash profile slash, what was that slash? We have successfully registered register clear, no, no, log out, log out. Now what else? So I have now to create. So basically you have seen that whenever you log in somewhere, it asks you to verify the email, and if the email is not verified, you are not logged in again another time. So we are going to create a verify email route with the token, that takes token. So this is our goal for now, and how we will be creating that, let's see. And for that, I would be needed any email service to send the email. For the email service, I will be using I will be using node mailer, and another one is mailtrap. Mailtrap and node mailer. Similar is recent also, but I will be using the mailtrap one. Remove this. So now let's create a utility for email, and then let's see how we will be creating that. Mm, this is done. Now I will be creating a utility for the email. So in the email, there is configuration for the email. So it will be email.js, not case. It should be email.js. Now, where we are going? So I'm going to node mailer and mail trap. So here is the mail trap. Login. So here is the node mailer, and it says first install this. So I will first install this node mailer. Okay, firstly let's push this on the GitHub. Git commit m YouTube post slash get get slash profile and post slash logout and git push. I the code is now pushed. I have to install this. Installed node mailer. Now node mailer has been installed. What I have to do now? Let's read it here. So const node mailer import and create this. So let's do that. So import node mailer from node mailer. So I've imported node mailer from the node mailer, and now here is the transport. So in the transport, I have these things. Now where I will be getting all the information from here. So the transporter, I will be getting all this information from here. Mail trap in the SMTP. This is the host. So I've written the host as this. Basically copy this and write it here. Now this is the port 587 is one of them. So I have written 587. Secure false leverage, and for the auth we have SMTP user and SMTP password. And this is the SMTP user and this is the SMTP password. Take it and store it in an environment variable. And now this is all set. Now what we have, let's see here. So it says if you have to send a message, you need a from transporter.sendMail and from to subject text and these things. So what I want, if you want to send a message, you have to do this thing. Await transporter and this. So let's do that. So I am creating a utility function, basically a function export const send mail async async, and these are the things. And it says that await, let's do this. So it is telling me to do things from here. So I just copy and pasted this in a function. Now it says that sends who sends this message. So I'll just store this in a environment variable who is sending the mail. So just store this in an environment variable. Who is to here? I will just take it from the here. So just remove it. Now what will be the subject? I'll add it. I'll add it. So take it here as well. Subject. Now what is will be the text? Text is a fallback if HTML does not work. So I can remove it. And the HTML. So let's send the HTML as well. The HTML. Now this is been created. Export const send email, and here now I want to send a verification email. If I want to send the verification email, what I'll do, I will just simply create a function export const send verification email async. It will take an email and a token. This will verify now if I have to send someone an email and a token as well. So that token will get verified. So I am taking token here. Now I have to just send email to whom? The email that I have just got, the subject and the HTML. And what will be there in the subject? Subject will be, I'll just copy and paste here the subject. Subject will be the verify your email. And what will be there in the HTML? In the HTML, there would be email verification. Click below to verify your email and something like this. I'll just show you. So the email will come like this. So verification email, click below to verify an email, And if I click on this, so the email will get verified, right? This is what we are trying to achieve. Now we have created our utility for the send verification email also. And now our email utility has been clicked. But one more thing, for the email, we have to change in our database as well, because this was the refresh token now. But when we talk of models, the email should be is will check if there is a verified email or not. So I now this is verified field is coming. Is verified, and I'll say it as type boolean, and it should be default, and default should be false. Earlier FAL false. And also I'll state the VERI verification token or the email that I'm going to send, that will be of type string. That will be of type string. So these two field has been added more. It is for email verification. These two fields has now been added. Now what I have to do? So if a user logs in, so I have to just send a route. So let's create one more route. Auth router router dot get. So it is verify email slash token, and it will. So for the verification, do I need to be logged in? No. First I register, and then the email goes to me, and then I'll verify, and then I log in. So verifi user email. This will verify the user email. Now I have to just go in verify user email and create that route controller. So port const ver, what was that spelling? verifi verify user email, then async request response. And why is it giving me error? No. Now what I will say, that in this service I will write the verification email. So service, this is the service. Export const verify email async. I'll take the token, it will take the token. And now what will happen? This verify email will run when I click on this thing. So what it should do? It should just go and change this. This model is verified to true, and also if this is true, then remove this verification token from here. So if you're thinking that how will I use this verification token, so that will also be there, but let's just wait. That will be the part of who will be sending the email. Once I register, then I will be sending the email. So that user verification token, from where it will come, that will come from that side. But now here I'm creating the verify email. So once I click the verify email, what it should do? It should just mark this boolean as true and remove this. So let's just do that. In the service, I want to firstly take the token. So const I'll I'll, I will, I'll, I will take this user find one, and from here, what I have written here, verification model. So here it is verification token. So I'll take this verification token here, service, and then wherever this verification token is here, just find me that. If the user find me this token, then I'll just see if there is a token or not. If no user, it means there is no token. So if no token, then throw API error dot not found. What is not found? Invalid token. I have the user, so simply what I have to do, I just have to user dot is verified. Just mark this field as true and user dot verification token as null, and await user dot save, just save it, and just return to this controller, and then once you are in the controller, just call it await verify email, and from here you will be giving it a token, and the token, as you know, from where I am getting this token, I'm getting this token from the this here. So this is a params. So token will be there in request dot params dot token, the name that I have given here. Where token, this is the name that I have given here. So this is what I am using here. Now the token is now get verified, so I just give you the API response dot okay, okay, okay. Response, what will be the response? Email is verified, verified successfully. Now the email has been verified successfully. What I need is, there are some changes that I have to do, and what are those changes? So firstly, I have to mhm, there are some changes that I have to do in the login as well, in the register as well, because once I register, then I'll send the email. Okay, so once I register, then I will be sending the email. So I have to take care of that as well. Who will be sending the email? So mm, for that, I have to create verify email slash token route, and in the register as well, I have to change. And what are the changes that I have to do in the register service? Let's see. So in the register service, I have to where is the register service? So this is the service, register service. So verify email is all done, but who will be sending the email? Register service now. So I have created the user. Check the user if it is in 3B. Yes, checked it. Created a new user. Good. But once I created the new user, I have to just send the email for send the email to user. Now here where utility will come. What utility? The utility will be send verification email, and here I have to change, give the email of the sender, new user that I've created dot email of the user that I have created, and the token. How will I create this token? There are various ways to create this token, but one important or simple method is simply I'll use the crypto module. So const token is equal to crypto dot random bytes. So using this crypto random bytes string. So basically what random bytes do is, I don't know what it will do, but it will create a token, hashed token that cannot be crypted. Okay. Now what happens here is I have no token. I want this token to be first. I want this token to be first saved in my database. Na? So let's just do that. So I'll just say new user dot verification token is equal to token and await new user dot save. So in this way, this token has been now saved in the database as well. And here I am sending the email. Just say await send verification email. It will send the verification email, and then here this email will be sent. Now once the email is sent, I just have to return the user. Nice. So this is the one change, and I'll also have to change in the login route. And the change that I should be doing in the login route is basically once I get the user, I just have to check here. Password is checked, that is checked. Let's check if the user is verified or not. If the user is verified or not. If user dot is verified. If the user is not verified, then also does not allow him to log in. Throw API error dot unauthorized. I'll say email is not very verified. Please verify your email first. Please verify your email first. So your email is not verified. Please verify your email first. So I have added one more check in the login route, and that is it. So we have successfully created our basically login route. Let's import it email. Now we'll go in the email. So verify email, then it will verify or the save in the usme, and then it send the response. So let's see one again. 700 auth API verify email slash token. Nice. Now what I want is start the server. Server has started again. Now if I register one more user, let's start again with the Ghania. So this is Ghania, and I'll say Ghania at the rate. I'll say Ghania 123. Now what I want is if I register on this route, what will now happen is what will now happen is where is the service. So now what will happen is it will first check all this and then send me the mail, and from that mail I will verify the token, and when I try to verify the mail from here, that will call me the that route. Which route? The route which we have created this route. It will call this route, and it will mark that as true. How will it will mark it as true? It will mark it as true from here. Simple, mark it as true. So now let's hope everything works. So this is the node mailer. Now this is working. So if I register this, it says type error. Why? Crypto random function is not a function. Okay, we have not imported it, I guess. So let's again go in the here. We have not imported it. So just import it now. Import crypto from crypto. Now it again started. No. Now if I again will go send a request, user already exists. Basically, I think I have created 1 1 2 3, this one, and this is the password. Now if I send, nice. It has created the password as well. Verified is false, and the verification token is also being generated that we have generated using the crypto. Now let's see if the email has arrived to us or not. So the email will be here, and this is the email. So a few seconds ago, if I click here, then this is the verify email. Now here in the database, let's see in the database. Let's see in the database. So in the database, we have this user Ganya123, and this is the verification token, and this is verified is false. This is verified is false. Now if I click on that link, let's click on that link. So if I verified this email, let's see what happens. So it says success true, email is verified successfully and data is null. Now let's again refresh it and see what happens here. So you see, now this is verified is true and the verification token is again null. So we don't know need this verification token, and is verified is also true. So now our user is verified. So it will log in as usual. Email is not verified. Oh, basically I have used this email. So see, this email is not verified, but if I log in with this email, so it is verified, so it should log in. Now it is logging in. If I have to get the profile, so it will get me the profile. If I have to log out, it will just log out. Clear. So now we have created all the 3 routes for today. So we have created all these 5 routes. There are various routes left. 2 or 3 more routes are left. So I will be creating that as well, but after a short break. So until then, bye bye. So basically, this is a whole masterclass of authentication. If you do not know the flow or the entire flow, uh, oh, authentication is dead. ठीक है. Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye.